Hey everyone, welcome to another episode of Excessive Pop Culture Discussion. This is our weekly unscripted chat show where we talk about everything that's going on in the news. Has nothing to do with the president or politics. Already losing it is my co-host,
Chat
Maggie
show.
Mayfish. Yeah, it's like it's not a talk show.
Yeah.
This one left the rails early.
Yeah. And next to her is
We're
Soren
back on.
Bowie. I'm Daniel O'Brien. There's a lot going on in pop culture this week, and we're going to cover all of it. I saw in the last 5 days Dark Tower, Valerian, and Detroit. Dark Tower, Valerian, really fun to look at. Detroit, incredible. Go see Detroit. It's very good. I also, mainly this week, I wanted to talk about a fight we got in on Twitter.
Yeah, that's extensive.
Our hot dog sandwiches. Please feel free to weigh in the comments. Hot dogs are not sandwiches, but we...
Yeah, don't weigh in. It's
Right.
already decided. So we went all the way to the Supreme Court. They decided hot dogs are not sandwiches. It's done.
People seem to have a lot to say about it, though,
Yeah.
on the other side.
They do. There's a whole lot of
That's
people...
what I hate, though.
Yeah.
Everybody's doing it to be contrarian, and I don't like that. That they're
Yeah.
just like, the same with like flat earth truthers, where people are like, but maybe, and they don't actually believe it. They're just
Right.
like, they want to fight.
And I think at the end of the day, a hot dog is a hot dog, and that's it. And that's the argument that I have that will never get beat, is that this is what a sandwich is and this is what a hot dog is. And I'm not even like trying to do shapes with them. It's just no, you're not, like.
Well, you did make
people
the
are trying
exact
to-
same
I know.
shape for both the hot dog and the sandwich.
People are trying to logic it, where they're just like, well, what if the bun fell apart and split? Wouldn't that make hot dog a sandwich? No, it's a fucking hot dog where the bun split. Get out of here.
All right.
Anyway, Soren, what did you want to talk about this week?
Well, not that. I want to talk about Logan Lucky, which is a new movie that's coming out. There's a really good trailer out for it. It's got Daniel Craig in it, and Adam Driver, and
Channing Tates.
Channing the Tay. And
The Tates.
it looks really fun and cool. It's about a bunch of guys who rob a North Carolina race car event.
Yeah, it's exactly my favorite kind of movie, where it's elaborate crimes pulled off by really dumb people. I'm very excited for it.
It's
a great
really nice.
genre.
Everybody's a big character in it, and it's written by a woman named Rebecca Blunt. And this is her first screenwriting debut, but if you try to find her anywhere online, I wish you good luck, because she doesn't exist. She's not a real human being. There are all kinds of people. Everyone who's tried to get in touch with her has failed. And obviously everybody's trying to, because this is her first big project. So everybody's asking Soderbergh, everybody, like, put us in contact with this woman. Even his press junket. Like, his press junket doesn't have the ordinary press packet where it tells you information about everybody. She's just absent from all of this. The only thing we have is her name. And if you try and find her on social media anywhere, she doesn't exist.
Yeah, it's just like one photo of her, right?
Yeah, there's a one photo, and Steven Soderbergh.
Just like blurry walking through the woods.
Yeah.
Yes, that's exactly right. Yeah, she's swimming in a lake, and just her neck and head are above the water, and then her
And
rump.
she's a fish, right?
And so no one can get in contact with her. And so everyone's asking, obviously, Steven Soderbergh, they're like, who is this woman? Can we meet her? And he's like, no, you can't meet her. And they're like, well, we don't think she exists. And he says, okay, well, be very careful what you say about a woman, and this is her first project that she's made, which is like he's tapping into this eagerness to be feminist about this and like give somebody like this a chance. But he's doing it for the wrong reasons. Like, he made her up.
Right. That's what, like one of the main battles with feminism isn't that men think women are ghosts. Like, that's not.
Except for me.
That's not what anyone is fighting against right now.
He's only using that as a way to keep people
From asking
too many questions about
Which
it.
is great. I love Steven Soderbergh, and I love his work, and I think he's a fantastic director. And I'm just reading this like, what? And then for him to have the gumption to like call the press like on their section when it's like agents are trying to find this woman, like managers want this woman on their team, and she doesn't exist.
She doesn't
Yeah.
exist.
She's not there.
So,
Do you have any theories as to why he might be doing this?
yes.
Okay.
Okay, so the other thing that Steven Soderbergh is doing with this project is that he's cut out studios completely from it. If you watch the trailer, the beginning of it will show Fingerprint Releasing, which is his company, and then Bleecker Street. Bleecker Street, he's using exclusively for marketing for this. And instead of using, like, a studio ordinarily would charge like $4 million for, no,
40.
$40 million for marketing for something like this. And instead of going to them and having them do the marketing, because they'll blow up that budget so that when they recoup, they're going to get a bunch of money back,
Right.
Regardless of how much work they actually did. So he's like, F that, I don't want to deal with studios. He's like the Kendrick Lamar, or the he's like the Chance the Rapper of the film industry. So he's trying to figure out a way to cut them out completely. He's only gone to Bleecker Street to make the trailer and to also do some distribution. So they've like put up billboards in the South and stuff like that. And he spent like 12% of his budget for marketing right now. And ordinarily by this point, a studio will have spent 40% of their budget because it comes out August 18th. So he's trying all these little things to like subversive commercial ways to get people excited about this film or to even like talk about it.
Yeah.
So I think that this might be one of those things, in which case I'm the dupe, like I'm the idiot now who's now brought it up on a show.
Yeah.
Right, but also then it's like using like feminism as a prop, like, hey, look at my show.
So it's going to be a huge bummer if that's why he was doing it.
What a bummer.
Yeah.
What if the movie is bad?
Well, all the reviews so far have been outstanding.
Right, it's 100% on Rotten Tomatoes, I think.
Everybody who's seen it has loved it. So, and it's part of that is because he's had nobody else has their fingers in the pie. Nobody else is like standing there around him being like, well, I think it needs to be broader. And so I think that he's lucky in that respect. Like, he's figured that part out. And if other studios, studios obviously hate this idea.
Yeah.
If other directors and movie makers see that this works, then that's also very exciting because then you're not as beholden to them to make your trailers that tell you every single joke or the entire plot of the movie.
Right. Yeah, there's also like a similar trend in like young adult novels of like male writers doing pseudonyms of female authors because like young women now want to read books written by women.
Yeah, of course.
So they've been using
That's
pseudonyms.
wonderful. Finally, the white cis guy getting his fair shake. I love that.
I was so worried about that. Look how far we've come as a society.
Wasn't it, I'm going to get this wrong, but I feel like in my childhood anyway, young adult novels, there was a really strong trend of genderless names.
Yeah, well, J.K. Rowling changed
J.K.
hers.
Rowling and I think like K.A. Applegate did the
J.R.
Animorphs
Tolkien.
books.
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
Tolkien.
From my
Just
childhood,
something
yes,
that-
J.R. Tolkien, I'm 60.
I don't remember what direction it was supposed to go and if it was men who were like, I'm going to be genderless so I seem like a woman, or women being like, I'm going to be genderless so I seem like a man to sell more books. But it seemed like that's what was happening. But if we're just like throwing out the rules now and like pitching your vampire books with a boy's name and like with a woman's name, then what are
we doing?
My name is now Rainbow, and call me Rainbow. That's it.
My name is now Rainbow, and call me Rainbow. I mean, all right.
That's a crazy story. I don't know what he's doing with the rest of that marketing budget.
Yeah.
Because he doesn't get to keep it.
No. He's saving it. He thinks that, in interviews, he said that he thinks it's important that within like the last 3 days of it, that's when people are really going to pay attention. So he, I'm sure, has something very big planned. I hope that this pseudonym thing is not part of it. I hope that this is just something that they never answer, and it's just this woman who doesn't exist, or she comes out of the woodwork the last day and she's a real
would be
person.
great.
Right? Is there a chance she's a real person?
Yes.
And
she was like,
everything's good.
Yeah.
And she's just like, no, I
just
just
afraid
hate the
of
internet.
people. Yeah.
My last name's Blunt. I got made fun of a lot for that. So like I didn't want to be in the spotlight. Becky Blunt, here she comes again.
Meanwhile,
Sparking
Emily
up a
Blunt
new
is sitting
hit.
in the background. I'm like, what the
It's a boy name.
I already cut this path for you. What's the problem?
Two pretty different Emily Blunt impressions, by the way.
She's British.
Oh, right, sorry, yeah. In mine, she was not.
No, she's like a 30-something Colorado dad, I think.
That's my impression of everyone. You should see my walk-in. It's wonderful.
Maggie, do you have a story for us this week?
I do. So mine is maybe on the opposite end of yours, but NBC has a new directing program where they're picking 10 female directors and having them shadow on 3 episodes of a show and then directing one of them. So it's called, Female Forward Initiative. And it started by the NBC president, Jennifer Salk. So yeah, I think it's one, it's great, but 2, they have these pipeline programs, and they have about like 10 of them for, I think they're mostly a catch-all. Anyone can apply. They all consist of the same thing, but this is the first one that's like female oriented.
Yeah.
So yeah, and have some fun numbers. Do you guys want to guess?
Are there ages for it? How old you have to be for it?
I don't. I think on the application it's like above 18, but
I'm gonna ladybugs this situation.
what is Jennifer Blunt?
Cool.
I want to direct. Oh boy. Do you guys want to guess what percentage of TV shows was directed by a female in 2016?
From NBC or from all of
From
television?
all TV shows.
What percentage?
You want to take a guess?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
15%.
I guess it's lower than that. I guess 7%.
3%.
No.
3%.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Which is, I didn't even know it
That's
was
a bummer.
that low. Yeah.
That sucks so bad.
Which is, you know what? It's down from 2015, which was 4%.
Oh.
So it took a 1% dip. So anyways, I think it's a great program.
I'm
yeah.
no longer
Yeah.
ladybugsing the set.
It's such a depressing
women need a
number.
chance.
It's, yeah, that was
That's
much lower than I thought.
That touched on something. So Tom and Abe are doing a thing that's the Cracked Movie Club podcast, where every month they do 4 episodes. Each one is about a different director. So they did Spielberg. They're like, here's our Jaws
Right.
episode. Here's our Raiders episode. A third Spielberg, and then a 4th Spielberg. And they were talking about, oh, we should do one, we should definitely like throw in women directors as well. So we've got Catherine Bigelow. And just like a struggle of getting, I mean, like
Yeah.
4 famous movies that have been given to women directors. There's there's a lot of like surprising comedies. Like Half Baked was directed by a woman, which I always forget, and that always makes me laugh.
All the Wachowski movies, right?
Yeah,
this count now?
Yeah.
yeah,
I mean,
You
yeah.
can retcon that, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
I've definitely read that article. I was
Yeah.
like, hey, well, yeah.
But it's just such a wacky thing that there's so few of them, and no like clear reason for that, except for like the
Yeah.
like the blanket sexism that is just over
Right,
everything.
but I mean, it's also the mentorship. You know, directing is a lot of like, you know, having a mentor, having a mentor who's a director, and you know, directors, they want to see something in the people they're mentoring. So if there's a lot of men directors and they're interviewing people, you know, they'll see a dude that like looks like them and be like, I remember when I was your age.
Right.
Yeah.
That makes
So
perfect
it's a lot
sense
of
why
just,
it
like,
happens.
implicit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How these systems get in place in the first place. I mean, I mean, everybody's dealing with it politically now because of school, like affirmative action in schools. But you can see how, even in your own life, how common it is. Like if I was going to hire a bunch of people and like somebody came in and they look kind of like a young white guy who's like, oh, I can relate to you.
Yeah.
Like you and I, we've had similar like we're starting from the same place, but this is going to be easy.
Right.
Right.
But yeah, I can understand how those systems get locked into place.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so
a bummer.
yeah, hopefully this is great, and it'll give a blueprint for other studios to do similar things.
I also read something a long time ago that, for reasons that were never made clear in these articles, that there are a lot of female film editors, and they're great at it. Like a lot of the best editors are female, and there was the author of the piece spun it into some kind of like, oh, this is also like birth. It's just what women are designed for. A man like throws a bunch of crap at you, and then you turn it into this beautiful thing. You just like make this amazing, beautiful thing, which is not scientific by any
Yeah.
stretch, and more like just like a cute little mirror to hold up. But the article did mention that like men don't want to lose the female editors because they're so good, and they don't want them to move from editing into directing. So there's some kind of like shadow plot to keep some of them down.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a bummer.
I know.
Yeah,
Oh man.
yeah.
Yeah,
But what if it's their dream?
I know.
Oh well, better be one of the 3% on a.
Well, good on NBC for doing that.
Yeah, that's cool. Go
Yeah.
get them.
I hope that works out.
Yeah.
I hope it's not at some point, like even if one of them goes poorly, I don't want that to be the excuse that all these other groups are going to be like, see, this is why we didn't let them in.
One day we'll have really shitty female directors and great female directors. It'll be great.
Isn't that what everybody wants?
That's what I want. I just want a lot of shitty films made by women, and it'd be
Yeah.
okay.
Dan, what about you? Do you have news for this week?
Yeah, do you?
Yeah, they're rebooting Death Wish, and the trailer came out today, and I'm really happy that I'm not alone in it. The internet is mixed, but they're mostly unhappy. They mostly think it's a bad thing. So Death Wish was a movie years and years ago based on a book that was a reaction to actual things that were going on in cities. It's a guy whose family was attacked or murdered, and he goes kind of crazy. It's Charles Bronson. He goes kind of crazy. He becomes vigilante, and he's just sort of like goading kids into attacking him so he can shoot them in self-defense to try to like get revenge for the attack on his family. Youths, yeah, like he's like a middle-aged. He's a middle-aged man, and he's like specifically targeting.
Let's shoot some kids.
Non-white youths to like clean up the city. It's like and he's the bad guy in this. He doesn't get the revenge, and the book was written because like a real guy in real life, like yelled at some teenagers on a train on a subway to attack him until they did, and then he pulled out a knife and he started stabbing them, and we're like, oh, that's a bad guy. We don't like that guy.
Right.
And then they made this book that was not celebrating this guy, and then they made a movie, and then they forgot the message of their movie and made like 19 more Death Wishes where it's like, and now he cleans up Texas.
Right. Well,
Like,
that
he's
was
just
the
like
thing.
Fievel goes westing his way and just like murdering. And
I think the movie came out and there were enough people in the audience who went, that guy is so badass.
Yeah.
That the studio, and with no morals at all, just pivoted. And we're like, oh, well, then he's the good guy now.
Yeah.
Now we'll just make more of these.
And now they've remade it, and they are also forgetting the message of the first one. And it's Bruce Willis. His family gets attacked and killed, and he goes to the police, and they can't help him. So he's very dramatically, like his hero moment in the beginning of the trailer is, I'm gonna buy a gun.
I want to buy a gun.
He has to do it for himself.
And he just like buys.
That's not hard also, so
No.
it's not like a big thing to overcome. You just go to the store and hand your ID and then you have a gun.
Right.
Well, he's saving his wish for the death.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Oh, that's true.
He buys lots of guns and kills people. Just like stops a carjacking here and then like finds people who are gang affiliated, and they're like, this guy beats me up on my way to school. Okay, and he just shoots a guy in broad daylight and has elaborate murder traps. Like he crushes a guy to death under a car when the guy is doing repairs on it, and you can see
It's like Saw.
and like the city loves him, and it's again like it's an old white guy murdering a bunch of non-white youths in a city under the auspices of cleaning it up and making everything better and getting rid of people who look like criminals. It's such a strange movie to make right now with that particular slant on it. And
Well, I'm having a hard time deciding and delineating the difference between that and Batman.
there's no difference except guns.
No.
Except that he wears
got a
a hood
cape.
so no one can see his face. They don't know what he looks like, and he just like wanders around. They took the thing.
Solves crimes
Yes.
by beating people up or killing them.
Yeah.
Well,
That's not great.
they
for
took the
me.
thing that
And
like
flying.
made Batman palatable, which was he has a rule, he doesn't kill, and they're like, but what if he did? Oh, now that's interesting.
Yeah, this still sounds very much like a superhero story, and I'm
Yeah,
a little
oh,
worried about that.
Like a
That's how they're
tone
treating
deaf
it, and
superhero
like
story.
the like cute little end tag they have for this is he's sitting in his therapist's office and he's like happy, and she's like, I don't know what you seem like much happier. I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it. And he's like, ha, all right, I will.
Oh, bummer.
Yeah,
no.
like, I can't see any lessons coming in this movie for anyone.
This is, oh man, that's like it's a weird, that's like if Falling Down was a superhero origin story.
Right. It's also it's Bruce Willis wearing a gray hoodie, running around the city, taking care of business.
Yeah.
He's also gonna be doing another Unbreakable, where he
Does the same thing.
walks
Yeah,
around
that's
in like a
right.
gray rain slicker and
Yeah.
uses his superpowers, which again is violence and strength. And now we'll have two of those movies.
Oh man.
Wow. That's,
Well-
I'm amazed that went through so many eyes and was like, yeah, make that. Yeah, all right. That looks gonna be.
Didn't they try and make a movie about that old man on the bus who just beat up that dude?
Did they?
Yeah, I think they did. But I think it's played like by Danny Trejo or somebody.
Oh.
It's like Old Man with an Axe or something like that. I can't remember what it's called.
Ooh.
But it's very similar to that, and it's just. And Bobcat Goldthwait, is that his name? He did a movie very similar to that, where it's just
Yeah, he did
that
that,
little girl and a man,
Yeah.
American,
Brian Doyle Murray. Yeah, it's
where they just run around getting vengeance on people who they think aren't good for society.
Yeah.
That they together have decided, and we're obviously the audience that is supposed to think the same thing. That they're sanctimonious.
I don't think that's a cathartic story anymore. I don't think that's a
No.
thing that
No.
anyone
We
wants.
know that's not the way to clean up crime. Now, if the story was him, like redistricting a couple areas and, like integrating a couple schools, then
Yeah, that sounds really boring.
doesn't it? But what if he killed people while he...
Okay, then I'm on board now.
All right,
yeah, like if
okay.
it goes all the way to the top and he gets up to like the local senator and like breaks his knee. Oh, okay. I'm all right with that.
All right, that's this week in headlines. I think we can get into our main story, which is a thing that Soren, you brought to my attention, and I can't even pronounce it. And I
Let's
think we're
all
gonna get
let's
into
all go through our
cannot.
individual
No.
pronunciations because I think we all probably have a different one.
Sarahah.
I say Sarahah.
I say... Sarahah. I kept trying to sound it out. Sarah.
I just heard Sarah and then ha at the end.
Yeah.
Sarahah.
Sarah.
Describe what this thing is.
Okay, Sarahah is it's basically an app that you can get criticism from anybody, and it's all anonymous. So they can write anything they want about you in these messages, and you will never know who sent it.
It started in the Middle East as specifically for jobs. It's for employees to leave feedback anonymously for their employer, so they
Right.
can tell them how they're doing.
That
you
makes
can
sense.
get honest feedback. And
Besides
then-
having that awkward, like, sit down with your boss, like,
Yeah.
just write it honestly.
And then it took on here in America because it became now it's an app instead of a website.
Yeah.
And their description is like, hey, get honest feedback from your employees. Also, be honest with your friends.
Yeah,
Tell your
anyone.
friends what you think about them.
So the only reason I knew it existed was because all of a sudden in my Facebook feed there were a ton of people saying, "All right, brace yourself. Let's see what everybody has to say." And they were just putting links out to this, and I didn't understand it. I went and clicked on it, and it was just this page, white page that just has a little bar at the top where it says like write something about this person.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, this is a terrible idea.
Yeah. I saw our
nobody should be doing
coworker,
this.
Robert Evans, was like, all right, I did it. I have a page. And I saw what it was. And then I texted him, this is f***ing stupid. Don't do this.
That's who I didn't want to point him out, but that was the first one I saw, and I was like, it was like saying something about Robert Evans. And I was like,
Stupid.
no, because the impulse, as soon as that happens, everybody has the same impulses as me, which is, this is dumb. Why are you asking me to do this? I'm gonna f you up.
And that's what's happening. I mean, like the teens. This was a very alienating article for me to read because the first sentence of it on Mashable was like, oh, but now thanks to Snapchat, Sarahah is making teens mad. I'm like, well, this doesn't sound like a real problem to me.
Completely
Yeah,
avoided that.
People keep posting screenshots of controversial comments that have been left on their thing, and teens on Snapchat are mad. They're like, my whole feed is clogged up with pictures of Sarahah.
Right.
And it's like, but like here's this Google Play review for the app. My 13-year-old sister uses this, and she got a death threat aimed at our 2-year-old brother. So that's the problem. The
Yeah.
problem isn't like it's clogging up my Snapchat timeline.
That's the problem.
There's so
Kids
but
are getting killed in movies and in this.
Yeah.
I know that makes me sound like an old man, but we keep redrawing our line in the sand for what qualifies as self-indulgent. Because, like, I get it. It was a while ago that we were really accepting of the selfie. Selfies are fine. Everybody, you want to take a selfie? I don't give a shit. That's great for you. Like, we've redrawn the line. Like, that's no longer considered self-indulgent. But now there's this thing where you can get people to give you solicited advice, I guess, or solicited criticism of you. A lot of it's going to be negative because it's the internet.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, you're then taking that and then showing it to everybody else so that they can then say, that's not true. That's
Yeah.
not you. Like, they're
Yeah.
putting up the most negative ones of themselves so that people will come in and undercut it. And be
Right.
like, that person doesn't know what the they're talking about. And that's so self-indulgent that I hate the idea of it.
It's also been like a slippery slope. So before that, when I was in college, we had the thing called Yik Yak.
Yik Yak.
Yeah, which I think is still kind of used, but it was a similar thing, although it did not need to be directed at someone. It was just like anonymous thoughts, kind of like Twitter, but anonymously.
Oh.
Yeah, so you could post your thoughts about stuff and, like, you know, people did talk about each other. But then also there was a website for a while, I think it's still up, it's called Lulu, and it was for women to rate men that they knew. They would give them a rating. You could select, like, buzzwords for them, write reviews of them.
That's a genuine hiccup. I wasn't.
Oh my God. Gotta log into my Lulu.
Seems when he
hiccups
gets
all the
nervous, he uncontrollably hiccups.
So weird. A post. Anyways.
Did you use it? Did you rate boys?
Well, I had a group of close guy friends, and I would go on there and give them good ratings in case, other girls wanted to go on there and, maybe they were
juked the
friends.
stats.
I did.
Oh boy.
I did.
That's why it's no longer around.
Yeah.
Maggie May single-handedly brought it down.
It's all those Lulu scientists who can't explain this anomaly that was surrounding your hometown.
Yeah.
I mean, in one way, that's really nice because there are a lot of groups of women that have a man can move from like one group of women to another if he's predatory, and he's very good at like convincing groups of women that to like him, and then he will do something terrible and then move on to a new group.
Right.
So it's really good for a communication network to exist between women to warn each other about something
Yeah.
like that. I don't think that that's what
That's not what this is at all. No.
I will say I hardly saw any negative comments. Most of them were like 420 friendly, were like the crazier ones, but like most people had fine ratings. None of them were like
it's
mean
boring.
or
Good.
yeah,
Oh,
it was boring. That's probably
yeah.
why it ended. It was kind of boring.
Yeah, but now with Sarahah, the teens are immediately turning to cyberbullying,
Right.
which I don't know, I'm kind of a split mind trying to think what I would do with this technology. I definitely remember when I was a teen and chat rooms were available, friends and I would go and troll people, surely.
Yeah.
Like we weren't hackers or anything, but like in this room I can pretend to be a different person and maybe I'll get a rise out of somebody else and because that
Maybe
was
with
just
the
like,
last name Blunt.
yeah. It was,
Rebecca
look at this
Blunt.
fucking idiot, Becky Blunt, who thinks she can walk around with a name like that. You'll never write a movie, I said. So I don't know, like I had that same 13-year-old troll impulse that I think a lot of people did that for me got old very quickly. But I also think if, knowing what I know about myself, were I a teen who could anonymously reach out to someone in my school, that's all of the love confessions. That's like exclusively what I would use this app for was
Letting them know.
Yeah, I'm your secret admirer, and you're gonna fall in love with me via words first, because those are the big
Trust
guns,
me.
baby. And then
This is the best thing I'm offering you.
once we develop this connection, you can look past that I'm currently playing clarinet in the marching band, and you're like, oh, he tricked me with all those words first.
And hair that changes its
Yeah.
I
circumference.
played the clarinet.
Oh, word?
Yeah.
You
This
still,
is also a time in Dan's life
sorry,
where
sorry.
Sorry, we're having a side conversation.
You still get crazy
ahead.
once in a while?
I still have my clarinet. I don't often break it out, but I could.
Yeah. We should do one of those things where we get reeds and lace them with acid, and
Oh.
then just play in the woods somewhere.
I haven't heard of that, but I'm into it.
Yeah, I said we should do one of those things like it's a thing that exists. It doesn't.
Okay.
The
Change my
intersection
mind. I
of,
don't think I want to be a co-host of this show.
And then he left. I don't know. Oh my God, hold on. I gotta picture Lulu. He just left the show. So weird. Anyways.
what were you?
I was
You were
gonna
going
make
to
fun of
describe
you.
a very specific time.
I was
in my
going to
life.
say that you also had hair that was changing the circumference of your head by about 2 feet.
Yeah.
Oh,
Big.
did you?
Yeah. Just
Great.
playing clarinet alone in my room and like wishing there was some app where I could tell pretty girls that I liked them.
I mean,
that's
it
wonderful.
would, as a kid, it would give you an opportunity to be earnest in a way
Yeah.
that you can't in any portion of your life. And
That's
that,
true.
like you would do, that's what journals and like diaries are for. is
Right.
You get home and you're like, I'm the only one who gets me. But man, it just, you're only going to hurt people on there.
What do you think you would do with it if were you a teen?
Yeah, I think it would be a lot of the same stuff. It would be me trying to, it wouldn't even be honest. It would be me trying out like different types of writing, like seeing like how, like what I could make people feel. And I think that's what a lot of people do anyway. It's just always negative.
Yeah. Mhm.
But like you'd also experiment with the positive too. You'd be like, I wonder if I could make this person fall in love with me. Or like, I wonder if like how good I can make this person feel
You're a
about
puppet
themselves.
master.
Well, that's just you're dabbling in the emotions of other people when you're a teen.
Yeah.
That's why everyone ends up hurting each other when they're teenagers because it's all experimentation at that
Yeah.
point.
You were a bully, so. I mean,
How do you know?
oh, I know.
Is it perhaps you hair shaming me now as an adult? Is that part of it?
You had that ready to go.
You saw a couple of people bonding over the net.
clarinet.
I was
and you
really
just-
chewing it up to the camera too while you guys were doing that.
Oh no.
You know, as soon as I mention marching band, I can see when you're like, oh, there's blood in the water. I can feel it.
Dan put up a picture on Facebook years ago of him like running through his house in a Christmas sweater with a clarinet, and I was like, oh,
No, I wish I was running through my house in a Christmas sweater, because then that's a different narrative. The one that you actually see is like, oh, he's posing with the clarinet and the sweater. Like this, we didn't catch him chucking it somewhere. It's like, get a picture of me now.
It's so precious.
Yeah, that was adorable.
Oh,
what would you do with the? Is your experience as whatever weird version of Teen Maggie there was?
Whatever it was. I feel like it would have been like anti this website. Like I think all the cool girls would have been
disruptive.
posting. Yeah. All the cool girls would have been posting about it, and I would like read them, and be like, whatever, that's not me. Here's a really deep song that I know.
That I know. Not even a song you wrote.
No.
I'm aware of this
Here's one that I know.
She's a brick and she's drowning me slowly. Yeah, I could see that for you.
Yeah, only because I'd be afraid. I was so
You'd
scared.
be the hero
I'd be
of your
afraid.
narrative. You'd be like, well, I'm the Daria of this situation.
Yeah. Let me take control of this by not at all participating, because I don't want to. I don't want to know what they think about me.
But teens, tweens, stop using it to give death threats to
Babies.
to 2-year-olds, and then
Confess your love.
even a person be like, oh no, you want to kill me? Oh shit, no, this was for your 2-year-old. He's the one who crossed me. Tell your brother that.
Yeah, please pass this on for me.
Yeah.
I think that's our main story. Do you guys have anything else you want to say about Sarahah?
Sarahah?
Yeah.
No, I mean, it seems like such a bad idea from the start, because you know what happens even when people's Facebook avatars or their Twitter names are like on whatever they're writing, they're still willing to be vile to one another and be just trash to one another.
Yeah.
That when you also give them anonymity, then you end up with something like 4chan or 8chan.
Yeah.
And that's where things get even worse and pedophilia-ish.
Yeah.
And I have to assume that's what's about to happen with Sarahah.
Yeah. I think it's a bad idea, but
I've seen
also
the trajectory,
Think,
yeah.
It's inevitable though.
Yeah.
I think we were always gonna have it. and
Yeah,
now
didn't we
have
get
it.
promised a Yelp at one point for people, and then everyone was up in arms
Everyone was
about that?
really mad about that, and I don't know what came of that.
Yeah.
I remember the creators tried to walk it back at first and say they were only doing this so they can get a reality TV show about their lives.
well, then it's
doing
fine.
This it's
I liked it better when we put kids in balloons.
Did that happen?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Did you hear about that?
you don't remember Balloon Boy?
There was a weather balloon that was, and the news followed it for an entire day because there was a balloon floating across the Midwest or something when it had a child in it.
What?
And then they opened it up. They finally shot it down and opened it up, and the kid wasn't in there. And he had just been in the top of his garage the entire time. And when he came down, his name's Falcon, by the way. When he came down, the parents were on the news and everything. And there was one newscast where he's on there, and they're like, so why were you hiding up there? And he's like, because mom and dad told me to. And they're like, no, don't.
Yeah, they just
And
did some like
they'd done it for
viral
a reality
stunt
show.
Oh no.
to get a lot of attention. And I do have to offer a correction. His name was Falcon. Now it's Balloon Boy forever. We don't ever forget that.
I was not the bully.
point.
That's the bully.
Balloon Boy. He's just punching down because
His name
he's
is
already
Balloon
down.
Boy. We're all calling him Balloon Boy. Balloon Boy, Balloon Boy.
That does sound like me. All right, that's our main story. Now, you guys have sent in your questions to Maggie. And we do not know what they are.
We do
And
not.
she's going to ask them.
All right, I think it's a pretty good one, guys. All right, so
good.
Josh is a prick, says, what's a hated film that you love? And since I know what it is, I'll go first. There's an incredible masterpiece called Pompeii, starring the...
You just love Kid Harington so f***ing much.
There
And he
is-
takes his shirt off. in it. This is so clear.
starring the wonderful talent known as Kit Harington, who can barely hold a sentence together, let alone...
What accent is he using in it?
Who's to say? It changes from scene to scene. They, I think on purpose, hardly give him anything to say. There is a moment where he confesses his love to a horse. This is true in the film.
Wait, what?
Yes, and so the film is
A
developing.
lot of liberties with that historical fiction.
Yeah. And halfway through, there's just a volcano, and they drop all plot and just run away from the volcano. Can I spoil it?
Yeah, I think that's fine.
Spoiler alert, they just both die. Him and the girl that they like.
What about the horse?
It dies too. Yep, they're running away, and they're like, you know what? let's just wait for the lava. So they just sit and,
What are they doing before lava in this movie?
oh boy.
Are there like dueling political? Is he in charge of things?
Hardly,
Is he like
no.
a guy who's working his way up?
He's a
somewhere?
gladiator.
He's a gladiator.
He's a gladiator.
It's worse gladiator sounds like.
Yeah. Yes.
It's worse Gladiator.
Worst gladiator. Like if the porn parody of Gladiator, I think is
Gladiator.
probably.
That's the porn parody of Gladiator.
That's great.
That's so good.
Damn it.
You guys
that's
see
so
on
good.
film how little time that took me?
Wow, that was
Go on.
immediate. There's not much to say after that.
Did you say the porn parody?
Well, I'm saying this is.
Does Kit Harington take his clothes off?
I mean, no, yes, he's shirtless through most of it.
Is he true to name? Is he Harrington?
No, completely.
I'll get one.
Like you, Soren.
eventually.
Completely. Just
Sure.
a dolphin from
Yeah.
here down.
Nice.
Yeah. So that's a bad movie.
Is it?
that
Yeah.
I
Is
love.
it?
It is actually bad.
Okay.
It's very bad.
But you like it for reasons that aren't Kit Harington, or is it
It
purely
makes
Kit
me
Harington?
laugh. It makes me laugh because it's so bad. The plot is like this, like the queen of the person who's in charge of this Roman town, like comes back and she falls in love with like a sweaty gladiator.
The queen of the person who's in charge of this Roman town.
Like
there's
king?
no plot.
I'm gonna say king.
There's no plot. There's
She's the
nothing
queen of
going
Ireland,
on.
and I'm the queen of this guy. I've been away. Now I'm back.
Yeah, it's just a very convoluted, boring plot with a lot of horses for no reason.
Sure.
Yeah.
I think we talk about this movie a lot, and the internet might be mad if I say this. I think Troy is known to be a bad movie.
Ooh.
And if we accept that, then that's one for me that I like a whole lot. I see the problems with it, definitely. It seemed like a couple of different movies, and I wasn't really sure what it ever wanted to be. And Orlando Bloom is quite bad indeed in it. And the music is egregious and terrible. I watch it every single time that it's on. It really gets me.
That's you do talk about Troy a lot. That's the only thing that I really get nerdy about is ancient Greek stuff.
Yeah.
And like the sex, death, and antiquity. That's my market. And the fact that you like Troy, I'm
That's
like,
your clarinet in the woods?
Dan, I gotta like
Acid on
I
the
can't
three.
tell you how bad that movie is without revealing these deeply vulnerable pieces of me. So fine, like Troy, that's fine.
Wow, he's really upset about Troy. Oof.
Your Lulu score is really taking a hit in this episode. There's something, it's a bunch of cool fights, like the Hector and Achilles fight is
The fights I
really
will
fucking
give you
cool.
are outstanding. The choreographer for those fights is world famous, and those are really cool and original and neat. But man, does that movie, in all other respects, suck. Just sucks out loud.
I remember being colorful. The sky was very blue through all of it.
Yeah, which is ironic. We won't get into it.
Totally.
I'll do two because I'm afraid that one of them isn't no longer accepted as a bad movie, and that's The Cable Guy. The Cable Guy was hated when it came out,
that was famously hated, yeah.
and it's wonderful. It's so funny. It's so funny and very, very dark.
I have not seen it in a long time.
Okay, yeah, you should go back and watch it. It's very, very good. And because I think now over time it has aged well and people have started to accept that Cable Guy is canon in the Jim Carrey lexicon. But another one that I really like and it was universally hated is Any Given Sunday. Any Given
You
Sunday.
love that movie.
Wow.
Any Given Sunday is a movie where like if I'm at the gym and it happens to be on, I'll be like, turn the sound on this TV. And I'll sit there the entire time and just watch it because I am so invested in that movie. It's very simple. Like the premise is all very simple, but there's not a shot that lasts longer than about 2.5 seconds in that entire movie. It's exhausting to watch, but it's so much fun.
I don't think I've ever seen that full movie.
Everybody's awful. There's not a single redeemable character in it. I mean, the acting's fine. As far as characters go, you don't like anybody. Even the wide receivers, Bill Bellamy, and I think you're supposed to maybe like him, but he's just him staring in a mirror for long periods of time being like, I am the fastest that's ever lived. I could catch anything. And you're like, oh no, this guy.
Wow.
And yeah, they're all pretty irredeemable, but oh, I love that movie. Guy loses his eyeball at one point.
What?
From football injuries?
Football injuries, yeah. So they're treated like gods, basically, who just go
Yeah.
out there and they're like gladiators. Where like, you know that these people are designed to die, and they go out there and they really play that up. And I think that there's a deleted scene from the movie, but they put in the unrated version where it's a guy's eyeball falls out in the end zone.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Jesse from Saved by the Bell in that movie?
Yeah, she is. She plays a prostitute.
Oh.
Sorry.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah, and that Al Pacino is in love with. So you don't like him much either.
Oh, yeah. Someone should tell him. She's not in love.
Yeah.
You have more questions? I don't think I had any other movies,
no.
but I don't think. I'm sure I'll come up with 9 on the way
Yeah.
home today. but-
Damn it,
Yeah.
damn it. That's how I imagine.
Your steering wheel is so weird.
It's skull bones.
She's one of the Mad Max cars.
It's very high up. So this is from Yuan Chen. Which fictional character, not from the Game of Thrones franchise, would you put in the running for the throne?
Okay. How about Goro from Mortal Kombat? Can I choose him?
Yeah.
All right, great.
Why not?
He'd do really well. He's basically, what was the head of the Dothraki for so long?
Khal Drogo?
Yeah, he's basically Khal Drogo with an extra set of arms. Maybe even extra set of arms. I think he's more like an insect. Yeah, I think he had.
He has
Four.
two legs and 4 arms, yeah.
Okay, yeah. So, yeah, I feel like he could be pretty good at that job.
Okay.
Interesting.
Seemed kind of short-tempered for it for me. I'm trying to think of
Yeah.
like just leaders in movies and TV shows that can also hang and make some tough decisions. And I don't know that they're are.
Maybe Hordak from Masters of the Universe. I think he could do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, or someone very smart. Because I think a lot of characters make a lot of impulsive, not well thought out decisions on the show that have very bad consequences.
Maybe Stringer Bell from The Wire.
Yeah.
Good at making deals. Tries
Yeah.
to see the whole picture. Got in a little over his head in Baltimore. So maybe I don't want to give him a whole planet.
Well, if he can handle Baltimore, he could maybe do the Seven Kingdoms.
Do you have an answer for this one?
Oh boy, I guess I should have since I have.
You're the
this.
only ones who have seen the
I
questions.
know. Like a mad scientist. Who's a good mad scientist that we like?
Rick?
Yes. He would take over in a heartbeat. People would be like, what?
Yeah.
Clean up that slobber. I guess he rules us.
Why would they never do that for Robert Baratheon? Why the f would they care about Rick?
Rick is just a
point.
smarter, more reckless Robert Baratheon. That would be fantastic.
Yeah.
What other questions you have for us?
Okay. Which movie would you pick to survive the apocalypse to best teach future generations what our civilization was like?
Well, that's heavy.
Wait,
let's see if I
so the
understand
apocalypse
that.
happened, and then I give the movie to children, and they're like, "This is what it was like."
Yes. Yes. You're explaining what our world used to be like with one movie.
Oh, man.
Oh, it's loaded.
All right, I already picked Dan's for him.
Oh.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Okay.
Love Actually.
Everybody loved each other in airports.
Yeah.
Yeah, except for like if you had like a sick brother and then you weren't allowed to love.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's the way that it was.
That's a pretty good one.
This might be a cop-out, and I don't particularly like this film by any means, but Boy's Life,
Yeah.
you know, it's like
Okay.
3 hours long. It shows like a very kind of mundane story about a dude just kind of living.
Right.
I'm,
So I think it'd be
I'm
good canon.
torn between trying to do something that was like, this is what perfectly captured the human condition and what modern life was like,
Right.
or if I seize this as an opportunity to brainwash the world for the future. If I pick one of the Star Treks where everyone is living in total harmony and just
Yeah.
like doing science together, it was like, this is what it was like. No one was mad at anyone for being different, and we all just like worked our jobs and did a good job.
We had replicators that made
point.
everything we wanted. Money didn't exist.
So if you guys could get started on building another replicator for me, like I did the hard work of living in this
Yeah.
world already. So
Yeah.
now you got
Now
like
keep
I
fanning
gave
me.
you the blueprints of what this is.
Yeah. God, it's really hard because like I'm trying to think if there's even like a decade that I could pick out a movie from and be like, oh yeah, that was perfectly that decade.
Right.
It's really tough, and you
Yeah.
might mean like right now, like
Yeah.
in 2017.
Right now. Although I was also thinking you could just, you know, pull a nice prank and what is that one movie with Luke Wilson,
Idiocracy.
Idiocracy. Be like,
This is what it was like.
I mean,
Right, the temptation of pranks is
it's really
it's really
overwhelming.
high. Like, I want to do like batteries not included. Yeah, they're a bunch of robots all the time, and they're like alien robots that help old people fix their diner. It's cool. Check it out.
We all had them.
Yeah.
Chappie. We all had Chappies. We played games with. It was fun. Everyone was South African.
Chappie sucks.
Chappie loves mommy.
This is really hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I want it to be so good, and I'm not thinking of one off the top of my head.
Yeah.
So I think
If you want
maybe
some time
like
to think, I could talk about Chappie some more.
no,
Okay.
maybe I'd do a girls trip.
Okay.
Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That feels pretty-
10,000% you haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, but I mean, it feels modern. It feels like, okay, that's a zeitgeist right now. I feel like that counts.
It's pretty funny. If you haven't seen it, highly recommend.
I like that you're picking a movie that you think the future generation will be like, this guy had his finger on the pulse. He knew it was it. Like, that's the only reason you're picking it.
You're very concerned about how you're looking in this presentation.
I'm the one who's giving it to them.
That's true.
Do you have any more questions for us?
I do have one more.
Okay.
If you wanna make it for today. Okay. So Gabby Gibbs said, "What franchise?"
You were pretty tame on the names.
You really
I did not do that on purpose. Mr. Woodles is a kangaroo. Mr. Woodles is a fictional kangaroo.
So nothing, Ben.
Okay.
Was-
Anyone who
Woodles
didn't
is
see
nothing.
if you didn't see last week's episode, she's not having a stroke. There's context for that.
I cannot handle that name, and if I ever have a dog, I'm gonna name it Mr. Woodles. Anyway, so this is from Gabby Gibb, and she says, which franchise, and I'll add like TV show or fandom, do you most wish you could have known about since the beginning? Which to me I think is, since there's such a thing as like fandoms and stuff, and I think for me it's, I think it's Doctor Who, because I never got into it, and now that my friends are super into it, I feel like weird watching them. It's like my love for this is never going to match what you guys love about it, because I just didn't grow up with it, and I'll never.
Yeah, I tried once. I tried at some point to get into it, and it was not worth it. From my perspective, I didn't like it. But I feel it. Yeah, I feel the same way about Battlestar Galactica. If I had been a fan of early Battlestar Galactica, even though I didn't grow up with it, if I had just, you grew up with things that were before your time and you still fall in love with them. If I had liked that, and then all of a sudden the new Battlestar Galactica came out, and I know, having not watched it, how much everybody likes that, it would just be this great topper to what you already loved. And I won't ever have that. And now I'm not even interested in watching the second Battlestar Galactica, because I'm like, well, it doesn't. I'm sure it's good, but I'll save it for when I'm old.
Yeah, I was going to say Battlestar, because that's a show that missed me that Cody is frequently saying, you would like it. It has all the things you'd like. And I'm like, hey, buddy, nice try. This some other time. It just passed me by. And it's just not a show that I'm going to get into now. Same with Lord of the Rings, that I like.
Oh,
if I sat down and
that.
read Lord of the Rings, I'm pretty certain I'd like them. Like my brother almost reads nothing, and he read all of them and loves them. And I never got into the movies. I never saw the movies, and I never got into the books. And I think now it's just too late, because got a bunch of other stuff to read.
Yeah, it's the similar situation where you grew up with the stories and then the movies came out. What a big deal that was.
Right.
And it would not mean nearly as much to you.
Yeah. The way that seeing Captain America on screen done correctly was like,
Yeah.
we didn't think this was going to happen, guys, but it did. It
Not in
happened.
our lifetime. Here we are. Yeah. I think that for both of us, Harry Potter probably falls in that same camp.
Oh, you guys missed
Gives
out.
a
Great. I mean, it's a very. I was rewatching the first Harry Potter movie with riff tracks over it, and the whole thing just ridiculous. It's so good though.
Yeah, this is
so good.
A little shout out, but have you ever seen Wizard People, Dear Reader?
Oh yes.
Okay, great. Just want to make sure.
Conundrum of baby and power.
I'm a rocket powered animal. That was a question that I wanted to ask, and I'll close this out with that because Wizard People, Dear Reader is something that I share with people, that I like gift movies that I bring to people, and I thought we can get a few answers out of this. What are your gift movies that are important to you to share with someone and have them watch it? This was much bigger for me in college, when I felt like I'm the only one in the world who knows Memento, and I'm going to share it with someone, and we're going to watch it together. And
like me.
Yeah.
Like
This movie is
I'm going
good.
to watch you watch this movie.
This movie is good, so then I am good. That's how this works, right?
Right.
League of Their Own is a big one of those movies for me that
Really?
I get excited when someone hasn't seen it, and then I get to share it with them and watch them watch it. And I was dating a woman who was doing jokes during it and like not paying attention, and I was like, we're gonna turn this off, and we're gonna watch something that you want to watch because otherwise this is gonna be a fight.
That's big. The two that immediately popped into my head was Cannibal the Musical by Trey Parker and Matt Stone.
Yeah.
It's a classic, and if anyone hasn't seen it, you get super excited because then you can sing the songs together. It's a great movie. And then the other one, I think most people have seen this though, is Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's one of my go-tos.
Really?
If someone hasn't seen it, yeah.
Interesting.
I love that movie.
I do
Everything
too,
about it.
and I didn't think I was going to.
Agreed. Yeah.
And that I think qualifies as a great share gift movie.
Yeah.
Whatever we're gonna end up calling this thing.
As far as movies go, when in college, I would make people watch Happiness. Have you seen that?
That's such a sad movie.
It depends on who you watch it with.
Okay.
Because it can really change. If you find the moments, it's very, very funny. I think it's written as a comedy. Because he's done a couple other things that are all very, very dark comedies. And some of the moments are really, really funny. I mean, even the guy talking to his kid and the kid saying like, have you ever done anything to me? And he says, no, I've just masturbated like while you slept, basically. And it's really funny if you're with the right person.
Something tells me you've been with the wrong person before and showed this movie and had a terrible, terrible time.
Well, I have to qualify things like that now because Point Break was a movie I talked about frequently, and then my wife had never seen it, and when she was just my girlfriend, she watched it with her family, saying like, "Oh, Soren really likes this movie," and I was like, "Oh no, no, I should have qualified that. Watch it with someone, like me, and it's way more fun."
That's fantastic. Well, I don't have anything else to say. Do you guys do you have anything to plug, Maggie?
Yeah, well, you can find me on Twitter at Maggie Mayfish, and I do other stuff, and I'll talk about it on there. Cool. Yeah, come see me.
Yeah, my name is Soren. You can follow me on Twitter at Soren_LTD, and you can follow me on Tumblr at Hot dogs are not sandwiches. So
Oh, wow.
that's all I talk about.
I heard some compelling arguments on the other side. Not saying I agree.
No, I did not.
Meatball sandwich. Meatball sandwich.
Meatball sandwich is meatball sandwich. It's a sandwich.
The only reason that one came up is because somebody was like, if your sandwich falls down, it shouldn't roll.
My friend Anna. I was reading this out loud. She's like, here's my take. If it rolls, it's not a sandwich.
Yeah.
You can find me on Twitter at DOB_INC. My timeline was kind of clogged with people doing this hot dog sandwich thing for a while.
Please
so
leave it alone.
I'm pretty over it now, so you don't have to say anything
Leave it
else.
in the comments if you know.
Yeah.
Let's bring it here.
Yeah, keep it there. All right, thanks for joining us, everybody.
Yeah.
Hey everybody, thanks for watching that. Make sure you click the big C in the middle to subscribe to our channel if you haven't already. Click any of the videos to my left, your right in those little boxes and you can watch them. Turn on that stupid YouTube bell to get notifications when we release new videos. And
Looks like I'm controlling you.